I worked the night shift in an old apartment building on the edge of the city. Most people avoided the place after sunset. The building was over 70 years old, with cracked walls, flickering lights, and long hallways that always felt colder than they should. My job was simple: walk the floors, check the security cameras, answer maintenance calls, and make sure no one entered the building after midnight. The residents were strange but harmless. At least, that's what I believed during my first week. On my first night, an elderly tenant stopped me in the lobby. She grabbed my arm so tightly it hurt. "Whatever you hear after 3 in the morning, don't use the elevator." Before I could ask why, she walked away. I laughed it off. Old buildings always came with old ghost stories. A few nights later, I noticed something strange. The elevator buttons only went from basement to floor 12. There was no floor 13. I asked the building manager about it. He smiled without looking at me. "Some buildings skip 13. People think it's bad luck." That answer felt rehearsed, too rehearsed. Every night, at exactly 3:13 a.m., the elevator made a soft ding, even when no one had called it. The security camera inside the elevator showed empty doors opening, then closing again. No one entered, no one left. Yet the elevator moved, every single night. One evening, curiosity got the better of me. I stood inside the elevator just before 3:13. The doors closed. Nothing happened. Then, the lights flickered. The air suddenly became freezing cold. My radio filled with static. The elevator began moving upward. Floor 5, floor 8, floor 11, floor 12. It should have stopped. Instead, the display flickered. The number disappeared. For a few seconds, the screen was completely blank. Then, a number slowly appeared. I felt my stomach drop. There was no floor 13. There wasn't supposed to be. The elevator stopped. The doors opened. Beyond them stretched a hallway that should not have existed. The wallpaper was peeling. Every apartment door was slightly open. The lights buzzed overhead. The air smelled damp, like the place had been abandoned for decades. Yet, everything looked untouched, almost frozen in time. At the end of the hallway stood a woman. She wore an old white dress. Her long black hair covered most of her face. She wasn't moving, she wasn't breathing. She simply stood there, watching, slowly. She lifted her head. A smile spread across her face, too wide, far too wide. Then she whispered, "You're finally home." The elevator doors slammed shut by themselves. The cabin shook violently. The lights went completely black for several seconds. I heard footsteps, not outside, inside the elevator. Someone was standing beside me, breathing very slowly. I refused to look. When the lights returned, I was alone. The elevator rushed downward, floor 12, 11, 10, all the way to floor 1. The doors opened. I stumbled into the lobby. The clock read 3:14 a.m. Only 1 minute had passed. The next morning, I searched the building archives, old newspapers, construction records, maintenance files, hidden beneath a stack of dusty documents. I found the original blueprint. There it was. A complete floor 13, crossed out in red ink, stamped, sealed. Beside it was a handwritten note, closed permanently after the disappearance of all residents. Date, October 14th, 1972. Every person living on that floor vanished. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just empty apartments. The investigation found nothing. The floor was sealed. The elevator controls were removed. Officially, it no longer existed. I confronted the building manager. He looked at the blueprint, then quietly closed the folder. "You weren't supposed to find that." I asked him if the story was true. He stared at me for a long time, then nodded. "Some nights, the elevator remembers." Before I could ask another question, he walked away. I decided to quit. I packed my locker, collected my last paycheck, and left the building forever. Or so I thought. That night, at exactly 3:13 a.m., my apartment elevator stopped. I lived on the 6th floor. The display changed. 6, 7, 8. Then, the doors opened. The same hallway waited outside, the same peeling wallpaper, the same buzzing lights, and at the end, the same woman, still smiling, still waiting. She whispered, "I told you. You're finally home." The doors closed before I could move. The elevator returned to my floor. When I checked the control panel, there was no button for floor 13, only 1 through 12. The next morning, I searched online for the old apartment building. I couldn't find it. No address, no photographs, no records. It was as if it had never existed. But every night, at exactly